The coronavirus pandemic has sent the global economy into a tailspin. Although it's hard to see the full picture of just how badly it has been damaged, the clearest evidence comes with job loss numbers and the mass closure of both big and small businesses. This includes companies filing for bankruptcy, closing doors temporarily, or even laying off employees. In Canada, the COVID-19 economic response plan for businesses includes a 75% wage subsidy, as well as rent relief for small and medium-sized businesses. In the US, the Senate passed a $484 billion coronavirus relief package, with 1/5 of the funding dedicated to small businesses. But even with the financial assistance from governments, will it be enough to help save a business during this pandemic?
I think there are a couple of things that are really crucial to whether we think these businesses are going to survive or not. And the first is money or access to deep pockets, capitalization. So the real question is, can you survive a shutdown, which is mandated by public health, and will you have enough money to carry you through that shutdown? So I think absolutely it's more likely if you're a bigger company that you will have that money, but that's not the only factor.
Block says another big factor is how your business was doing before the pandemic.
And so, for example, we've been seeing some news of potential bankruptcies for very large retailers, right? So if you were on the brink, then this pandemic could definitely push you over.
In order to stay afloat, companies have pivoted to selling their products and services online.
Yeah, what we're seeing is that companies that were already well established in the e-commerce space have had a definite edge during the pandemic. They already had the infrastructure in place. Think of Amazon for books versus the neighborhood bookstore. Amazon already has the distribution network, whereas the neighborhood bookstore, they have to develop that ability to service their customers online. And if you think even about grocery stores that had e-commerce operations in place, they're simply being flooded with so much more demand than they've ever had to deal with before.
But even if you can reach consumers, it doesn't mean they'll be spending money.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs comes to mind. So this is the sort of pyramid that explains what sort of needs people need to fulfill initially before they can get to sort of higher order needs.
That means things like food, water, and shelter, followed by employment and property. So the idea of spending money on the latest gadget might not be in the books for some. Other businesses hit badly are ones which rely on large crowd gatherings or in-face interactions between the consumer and provider, such as barbershops, concerts, movie theaters, and tourism. But not all is lost.
It's never been easier to conduct business online. That's the great thing.
That's Isabel Pavot. She helps organizations understand the principles of the digital economy and helps them to get to the next stage of growth.
Yes, people are hanging on to their money, but there are a lot of people that are business as usual, that are still having a salary and that are still spending money. I think what has made certain businesses thrive in a time of exponential change, it has always been their ability to adapt and innovate quickly. And respond to market demand. I think gyms have really, my gym in particular, has really risen to the challenge of having, moving everything to online, and now has actually developed a business model with that.
So when this pandemic is all said and done, will the businesses that took a major hit ever recover?
I think one thing will remain: experiences. People will still want experiences, especially after this. So yes, things like tourism and travel and cruise ships and all that are going to take a big hit because we know, how long this is going to last. But I think people are going to be craving experiences.
So I think it's really the human cost that concern me, because the kind of heartlessness of economists knows that, one business closes and another one will open up. But really, it's the human angle of what happens to those people who have lost their livelihood, what happens to those people who have to put their health at risk, to continue to earn a living, and that's more that what keeps me up at night.
Thanks for watching. If you want to stay up to date on the latest breaking national and international news, be sure to subscribe to our channel, where we also dig into big issues around the world in our weekly series, Global News Explains.